Yo, welcome into the Fantasy BS Dynasty Show. It's your boy B. Got my buddy Smitty with me. Carl hanging out. We're going to BS about some Dynasty, some real football, some playoff risers, fallers, and have a nice debate over some Nirvana albums out there. Look, guys, like I always say, we're your everyday Joes just talking about football. We got nothing better to do. So you like us, listen to us. You don't? Don't. But anyway, Smitty, man, how's your day?
It's been an okay day. How's yours?
It's good. I've been waiting to ask you this on recording. Talk to me about the Rams. Talk to me about how that went down last Sunday.
All right.
It was an incredible game. Give me your unbiased, but tell me how you felt through this. As a Cardinals fan, I've been waiting for it.
All right. So I have so many thoughts, right? And I think I'm going to go and start by saying this. Last weekend, 100% the frauds were taking out the playoffs. There were plenty, and I mean plenty, of fraudulent teams in the playoffs, and all of them have been removed. But only one game was somewhat competitive to the point where there was a point where it really could have been a 50-50. And I cannot say the same for all the other frauds, so I'm sorry, Steelers. I didn't watch that game, but I definitely didn't want to. Cleveland, fraudulent. What are the teams? What other teams got? Cowboys, fraudulent.
Hey, you know
What
what,
other
Smitty?
teams?
On this
Um,
podcast, Smitty, on this podcast last week, what did I
mhm.
say? I said Eagles, and I said the Cowboys were both going to get booted, and there was going to be a who's going to go get Billy B moment. So I saw NFC East suck, man. Those teams they didn't come to play. They didn't come to play all year. They were bipolar. Just Philly, man. That was one of the most embarrassing football games I've ever seen somebody play. It looked like they weren't even ready for the JV squad. I mean, you go back and look at that. They didn't have one third down and one fourth down conversion in the entire game. We're talking about Mr. Tush Push. Like, you don't have one third or fourth down conversion. That's on coaching. That's on coaching staff 100% for me. Eagles will be moving on from their coach before Cowboys are, but Cowboys are moving on, aren't they, Smitty? You think the Cowgirls are going to move on?
You know what? I think there's a lot that needs to go on because at this point the Cowboys are exactly who you think they are, and they never will change. So if they want to shake something up now, I mean, if they want to shake something up at all, now's the time. Uh, I agree with what you said. The Eagles game was embarrassing. I did not want to finish that game, but I just wanted one more touchdown from the Eagles and didn't even get it. So yeah, I agree with you. That was the absolute worst. Miami. I mean, let's talk about. Okay, remember last year when the Niners were playing the Eagles and the Niners just had this beautiful collapse where it was like this just wasn't meant for them. Miami, it just wasn't meant for them either. They had way too many injuries at the right time, and oh, you hate to see it because that was an exciting team, and they got hard knocks going on. Just I feel for them, but at the same time,
So
fraudulent.
I genuinely felt bad for the Dolphins because look,
Oh, did you?
I like everyone on their team. You know me on our other podcasts. I haven't been talking about Miami being like this dominant team, but man, everything went against them. Everything went against them. When I saw their coach huddled up with all those clothes on the sidelines, I was like, oh fuck, they ain't even gonna score in this game, dude. As a coach, you can't show weakness, right? You got to be out there. I mean, cutoffs. Andy Reid didn't give a shit, dude. His beard or his mustache is frozen. He doesn't
Right,
care.
that looked intense. That looked scary. I
Yeah.
couldn't have that happen to me because that looked like it hurts.
Yeah, Mike McDaniels, if you're out there, you know I love you. I love you wearing that Breitling watch, that beautiful, beautiful watch out there, being Miami bougie. But you know what? Sometimes you got to act like a grown man, Mike McDaniels. And when you're cold, you know what? You look at your team and say, bitches, I used to walk in the snow naked to get to practice to then play naked. Whatever it is, man up for your team out there. But yeah, Smitty, you're right. So that Detroit game, that 1 point
Okay,
victory.
okay, all right. I really did try to jump around it, and now let's center back. Golf. I'll admit there has been a couple of years, particularly 2020, where I genuinely thought in my heart that you were wasting the prime of a lot of players on defense, and you dead ass wasted the prime of Robert Woods. But I will say this at the same time, you have given Robert Woods the best career he could possibly have. So, in that, I thank you. And honestly, you've been a valuable player in fantasy. So, I have a lot of respect for Goff, right? This was the game where he is still, even years later, is still so upset that he couldn't stick around and waste the more prime years of a lot of players, specifically on defense. So when he was traded off, he still felt, he felt that chip, I guess. This was his opportunity to take away the one thing he knew Sean McVay cared about absolutely like the most. And that is a chance to play for the Lombardi. He took that away. He took that away from McVay, and that must have felt phenomenal for Goff. And you know what? Just now you're good, okay? You're good. Congratulations, Goff. You got it done. I'm happy for you. Now please relax and keep going because now if you really want to prove something, beat the Niners and get the Lombardi this year. So I'm proud of them. I'm Jameson Williams. I mean, a complete dog. A complete dog. I mean, what he does for that team is exactly what I like about Addison for the Vikings. Like he is opening everything up. He's opening the run game. He's opening up Amon-Ra St. Demon. He's opening up. I mean, he's making Goff a way better quarterback than he is, and he's smoking our defense. At which I knew that our defense was our secondary rather was not ready for this game, and that showed. And I mean, but I'm not going to talk about the Rams. I'm obviously very proud of. We gutted our defense and still made it to the first round. I'm very proud of them. Puka Nacua, best rookie ever. I don't care what anyone says. Best rookie wide receiver to do it. Period. And I'm just so proud of the team. I'm so proud of everyone. But I have to talk about it because it's been on my heart and it has not left yet.
I had to text you to make sure you'd be okay to even talk about it today. I was like, dude, are you going to be good to talk about this? But by far, most competitive game all across the board. We had revenge game scenarios going everywhere. You know what? Green Bay Packers, they got the revenge game. You know what? We fired you as a coach, and you know what? Now we're booting you from the playoffs. And you know what? Jared Goff got his revenge. Tyreek Hill did not get his revenge. I feel so bad for the guy. I mean, I would have loved to have seen that game not in, negative degree weather. Like, a sunny game, let that offense run. They're still going to get beat but because of their defense. But that would have been I feel bad, man. I want Tyreek to get that revenge game because he's so friggin' good.
You know what?
So
Now we
good.
have another conversation. You know how I said that Goff was wasting the prime of a lot of players?
Yeah.
I, I'm gonna leave it at that. But I'm just saying, like,
So you think Tua's wasting Tyreek? Sure. I mean, you get him in the snow, it looks bad. I mean, it looks
when you
bad,
get him in the
but
snow, it looks really bad.
yeah, I think Tua might
But
be
I mean, there's
wasting.
more to it. I mean, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm a little harsh on Tua. I'm sorry about that, dog. You played your best. Um, oh man.
Yeah, way to go. We'll give you an asterisk because it was a cold weather game and you didn't have a defense. But Tua, got to step it up next year. I mean, you have an offense built for speed and built to win. So time to get it going there. So the one thing when I was watching these games, Smitty, is I was looking at all these risers, all these fallers. We had some really good performances. I mean, if I look at just risers across the board from a dynasty standpoint, we got C.J. Stroud, who I like to call the chosen one. Nickname, if anyone ever hears you say the chosen one, that is C.J. Stroud. He's ready to drop dimes. Does it continue this week against Baltimore? I do not believe it can. And you know me, I said that he was going to kick the crap out of that team last week, but I don't believe it. Ravens are primed to beat that. Do you think Ravens can or Houston can win that game?
I actually think this will be a close matchup. I really do because honestly, I think um, the Texans defense is a little more ready for this game than the offense because the Ravens defense is elite. I just for the entire season, I really thought Cleveland's defense was the best. So if he's going to do that to Cleveland's defense, I think he's going to have similar results. But at the same time, I think we have a significantly better coach over there in Baltimore. So I think this is a beautiful toss up, and I'm super super happy that this is the first game out of all of them because it's low key the one I'm most excited about.
So I'm going to start up right now, and I'll tell you what. I never even advocated drafting in January, but I wanted to do this because we're doing the pod, give you guys real value. Uh, C.J. Stroud went as the quarterback. 6 off of the board. When Allen, Mahomes, Herbert, which I don't understand why they went in the 103, but whatever, different strokes for different folks. Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, C.J. Stroud. Um, C.J. Stroud just tiered the F up. I mean, especially the last half of the season, but playoff game, you go do that, you just tiered up. And on top of that, I put Nico in here. Nico went as a wide receiver as 9. Wide receiver 9 in this draft I'm doing right now. So is Nico a top 10 wide receiver right now? Smitty?
No, no.
Top 15?
And here's why: because once Nathaniel Tank Dell comes back into play, then it's just going to be that game where it's going to be whose game is it? Is it going to be Tank's day? Is it going to be Nico's day? And then, I mean, they might honestly even get like a sorry, Robert Woods, they might get a vet upgrade. And like, I mean, that could be another problem within itself. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think Nico's value is going to really carry into the next year as well as we'd hope. But I definitely don't
I
think
think it
it's a sell
will.
either.
So I think it's going to carry. I don't think the draft I'm in right now at the wide receiver 9, maybe 10 because we're doing kickers as first rounders. So Marvin Maserati went in there as well. But I talked last week a lot about
Ooh.
liquidity. A lot about liquidity. And you know what? Nico is a perfect example of trying to go out and get some liquidity right now. So I would be tearing down from Nico or maybe tearing the same tier and grabbing a pick somewhere along the line for him. So Nico's a prime example of someone that the hype's just hot. It's hot fire right now. You know what? He just went out and balled. If he goes out and balls again, I mean, he is going to stay in that wide receiver 10 range if he does it twice in the playoffs. And I don't I don't think I mean I don't think Houston goes and gets another wide receiver. I mean, a vet, yeah, maybe a vet, but what about T. Higgins? Could T. Higgins go to Houston?
They better not do that. They better not do that. I'm sorry. I like Tank too much. I like Tank too much.
Yeah.
I really want him to be Tyreek 2.0, and then I want him to replace Tyreek once Tyreek actually leaves the league because no, because the kid's too exciting. I can't have another alpha dog in that freaking. I guess he's not the A, but I can't have another big time receiver on that offense.
So Tank went in this draft as the wide receiver 14.
14, gorgeous. I wanted to be top 20, and I really wanted to be top 15. So I love it. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I think, it's going to be really close, and we'll see how the offseason progresses. But I'm going to be interested to see once that injury hype is gone and he starts coming back right before the season, you're getting all the good news, who actually is going to get drafted first, as we moved into, actual drafting season. I would be on the side of Tank because I like, me, I love my explosiveness of people that can absolutely go win me a week. And that dude's got a little Tyreek in him. Maybe Nico's got a little Julio in him. I don't know, but either which way, I'm probably going to take a Tank side. But in redraft, if anyone's listening, I would take the one that's cheaper, 100% across the board. So CJ Stroud and Nico rising across the boards. But let's talk about Jordan Love and Dynasty right now. We had this debate on this pod last time where I'm like, my worst trade of the year is I got Richardson for Jordan Love. Jordan Love is him, dude. Jordan Love is him. Jordan Love in this draft I'm doing right now is the QB 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The QB 9. Jordan Love went as the QB 9. And you know what? That's where he
I
finished the
love
year.
that for him.
I love it. I think he was QB 8 on the year, depending on what format you're in, but in that 8 to 10 range. I love it. He's QB 1. He's young. No moment's too big. So I had some people over at my house, and I kept telling everybody all morning as these games were starting, I was like, CJ Stroud and Jordan Love, there is no moment that is too big for these players. They are cool, they are calm, and they look like they're actually there to win. It's amazing when you look at them. Nothing's too big for these guys. It's incredible. I'm a fan. You know me. Me and you were on the Jordan Love hype train. We were getting him everywhere last year. It got real rocky, but how good does it feel for you to be on that Jordan Love train with me right now?
Yeah, man, it's nice to have a share of him in Dynasty. It really is. Like it's because he's one of those diamond in the rough players, and if you have a diamond in the rough, you're jumping for joy because you struck gold. And just to have him, just the kid. I mean, he has the experience, but he's technically a rookie. So this is just exciting to see his future. And the best part about him is his offense is full of dogs. Like it's
Dog.
I want him more than any of his receivers in Dynasty because he can throw to anybody and they could take it to the house. And
Anybody,
I mean
anybody
anybody.
that has a heartbeat, he's finding them. Anybody. And CJ Stroud's doing the same thing. He's had receivers down all year. But I have to admit something, okay? I got to man up on this one. I sat on this pod, I was like, I would much rather have Jordan Love than A. Rich. You know what I did in this draft? So I had the pick right before Jordan Love got picked. And I was looking at it, I was like, you know what? I'm on the turn. I got 4 picks after me before the turn comes. I think Jordan Love might fall, and I want A. Rich and Jordan Love. I actually drafted A. Rich above Jordan Love with everything I said about Jordan Love last week, and I really thought he would fall to him. But you know who fell to me in that one? I was actually super stoked about it. Who did I say was going to be the QB1 next year?
Oh, K1.
K1.
Kyler Murray.
K1. Yeah. So I actually got him. I don't think Kyler's got as many years as Jordan Love has left in him because, look, Kyler's going to wear out here in 3 or 4 years. He's small, but I think he's going to have a really good 2-3 year run. But so, yeah, those players are going crazy. Romeo Doubs. I want to talk some Romeo Doubs here. Okay, so when we look at the Green Bay Packers, I want to know how you're ranking these receivers right now because we got Christian Watson over there. We got my guy on Reed, and you know me, I'm Michigan State guy. I've said it. I think he's the best receiver on that field. But we got Wicks coming in. We got Romeo Doubs. How are you ranking these wide receivers right now?
Okay, so I have to. I mean, I hear what you're saying about Reed, and I love Reed as well. But I think what Aaron Rodgers did to Christian Watson was freakish. I mean, he really put that kid on a wide receiver one fast track. He told this kid, "Hey, I need you to be Devontae Adams light." Like he really forced that kid to be a Himothy, and because of that, I mean, Wicks did not get that type of training. I highly doubt Dobbs got that type of training. He might have, maybe a little bit, maybe a little tutoring session, and Reed definitely didn't. So I just think because of that, just that need that Aaron Rodgers had for him in his final year in Green Bay, I think Watson's on top. Reed number 2 for sure. Dobbs, I really, man, he is too boom or bust for me to even go after. If I'm being honest, would love to sell him though. And then Wicks, that is flex play material, if that.
So when
I'd
I
sell
look
him
at
too.
this, when I look at this, Smitty, I'm telling you, if you combine all 3 or 4 of these guys together, I think it's the best wide receiver core in football, possibly. We're going to see what happens with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins because right now that's electric. You got some other ones that are brewing up here. But here's the thing, Christian Watson. Look, we were big on Christian Watson. We were drafting him in best balls because of his explosiveness last year, and he had a hamstring injury this year, and that hamstring injury lingered on all year. And even when he got in, he went back. But look at this. I watched all of Green Bay's games this year because I just enjoyed watching Jordan Love, turn into who he is. Look, we really had 2 healthy games for Christian Watson, and in both of those healthy games, we saw a wide receiver 13 and a wide receiver 8 on the scoring settings for him. So he has that explosiveness. So if you're looking at me, this is going to create, and this is really where I went into the Jordan Love is better than A. Rich argument with you, is these receivers are creating depth for Jordan Love to do what he wants to do with the football. Every single receiver is doing something different. You're just taking the nuts off the defense with speed. You've got a guy like Jordan Reed who can do anything. This guy can do anything. He is an incredible route runner. He's only going to grow. Wicks is just that tough guy. He's just that tough guy. You know what? He's undersized. He's okay in speed, but he's going to go score some points. And then you got the man. You got Romeo Doubs. He's basically your tight end. I know you got Musgrave, you got Kraft over there, but this is a big boy that is going to catch a ton of touchdowns in this offense. So if I'm rating all of them, I'm going Reed, Watson, Doubs, Wicks. But between Reed and Watson, I think I just want who's cheaper. And I would like to try to tier off of one of them, especially Reed right now. So Reed, just to let you know in this draft I'm doing right now, so he went at the 6-1. That's with rookies in there. So take rookies out, a normal startup if you're doing 2. That's really like top of 5th round in there. That's pretty. That's a pretty big rise. I mean, that's as big as
Yeah,
it
I
gets.
agree.
You talk third, fourth round pick last year, rookie drafts, just like Puka. Now, let's just talk Puka. I said Puka. Let's talk Puka. I want to talk about the Breakfast Club. I want all. I know we've got millions of followers out there. I know we do. I want all the quarterbacks, all the NFL quarterbacks to start taking some notes. What do you do with your receivers? Wake up in the morning, have breakfast with your receivers. One, two, three. Look at Matt Stafford started to have breakfast every day with Cooper Kupp. He turned into a season that we have never seen before from a wide receiver. He made the season that Debo had that year look like Debo was junior. JV squad. Have breakfast with your receivers. So I listened to whoever the announcers were in that game talking about this cool conversation they had with Puka. And Puka does breakfast with Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford every single morning. And what Puka was saying is when he gets there, he didn't even know what the hell they're saying. They literally were just talking about Puka needs to be doing this, Puka needs to be doing that, Puka needs to be doing this. And Puka's like, dude, I'm sitting next to you. But just what he learned from those two people talking about space and dimensions to offenses, every quarterback needs to do this. You know what, Josh Allen, sit down with Steph Diggs, go get Gabe the Babe,
Good luck.
Colby Kincaid, have breakfast every day, and talk about what you want to be doing. Tua, get on the page with Jalen Waddle right now when he's healthy. So anyway, I'm done. Let's talk Puka. Where's Puka rated in your world right now, Smitty? Because he went off as the wide receiver 4 in the draft I was just doing, and that was right above Sun God and G. Willie and AJ Brown went right after him. Is he wide receiver 4 in your world?
Okay, well, I'm gonna just run it down real quick. Justin Jefferson, wide receiver one. I can't deny it anymore. And then from there, Puka Nacua is number two. I really, really respect his game this year. I remember at one point it was crazy because Coach McVay shouldn't even be saying this, but I think it was McVay that said, "We got ourselves a Debo." I'm like, we
It's
really do. We really
it's
do.
more than a
That guy's
show.
a yak god. He really is a yak god. And I'm like, but McVay never, ever, ever referred to him as a Debo. Don't ever disrespect Puka Nakua like that again. I'm sorry, Brian, I have to get to this. Talk about disrespect. So when Matthew Stafford came out, got to the field with the Rams on Ford Field, there were some musty, dusty, busted, rusted, upside down, disrespectful, absolutely Neanderthalic Lion fans booing him, like actually booing him with their mouth. I mean, Matthew Stafford has given the city of Detroit and the Detroit Lions his all for a decade, ever since he was drafted number one. He was drafted number one to be the him he is, and he's given so much to that team. He does not, trust me, he is one of those players that does not want to be embarrassed every single Thursday. I mean, every single game Thanksgiving. He really, really did not want that. And deep down, those players didn't either. But this poverty of a franchise kept holding him down. So when he tried to force a trade, who could actually blame him? Imagine going to a job that just okay, so you and your friends, you all graduate from the same place, you all get jobs at different places, and they are elevating at exponential rates. Meanwhile, you, who was really the best of that class and the best of your friend group, just stayed down to the entry level, and they just keep letting you there because they just don't know how to respect the players that kick ass. And then he steps in there with a different team, and let's just remind these freaking Lion fans that the trade for the Stafford Goff trade helped the hell out of their team. It pretty much got them to where they are now. I'm not saying every piece that we gave them got them here, but it was a
Sorry about the
fantastic
technical
start. And don't get
difficulties
me
here.
started
I
on
guess
Brad Holmes.
talking a
He
little bit
was
about
part
Matthew
of the
Stafford was a little
freaking
bit much
Rams
there.
like staff, and
But
then he goes
as
in
we
there
look
and
at this,
teaches you
I will
boys how to
tell you,
draft.
I know
Don't
Smitty's
e-
still
I mean
going off. He'll be back in a second. But
these
I agree with
freaking
that. You
Lion
know
fans
what?
are really
I
pathetic
didn't grow up
for
there with a
booing this
family.
man. And honestly, I spit on the ground of a Lions fan if I ever see one walking because I can't believe that. I can't believe that disrespect. And then when he leaves, okay, so the game's over. They win by a point. Everyone's happy. You freaking fans don't deserve that. You really don't. Y'all don't know what a good thing is, frankly. But when the game ends, Matthew Stafford runs directly to the home team's locker room to congratulate them for what they did to his city. I mean, what are booing him? Disrespect, and I hate that. I used to think I hated the Niners just because they're better than us at some points when we play each other, but this is real vitriol for them fans. So they need to figure that
I love
out. They
it.
need to really. I'm gonna stop, but I
I
don't
love
respect
everything
that
you said. By
whatsoever.
the way, Smitty, you cut out for like 15 seconds there, and the funny part is you came right back in at such a beautiful point that you made your point. I
Oh,
agree with
okay.
you. This is in Philadelphia.
I'm sorry. I just
You know
had that in
what?
my heart.
My
It was
whole
burning. I mean, I'm a stop.
my whole family's from East Lansing, Michigan. I've grown up with Detroit fans. My dad was a Detroit Lions fan. It's
Oh
been
shoot! I didn't mean to
miserable.
offend your
And you know
family.
what?
Oops.
Matthew Stafford was the dude. You know what? And you know what I respect about him? Yeah, he asked for a trade, but leading up to that, he didn't do anything public. He was about the city, he was about everything. So, yes, you should not be booing Matthew Stafford. He gave you the best years out of a bunch of shitty years you could possibly have. Look at everybody that was there to support them. Do you think Megatron was booing Matthew Stafford? No, he made him a Hall of Fame player. And guess what Matthew Stafford did? He made himself a Hall of Fame player playing in Detroit. Got the Super Bowl somewhere else, but doesn't matter in there. But a little bit on the risers. I want to get back to the risers here because we got a
I'm, so-
couple others that I want to
I'm
talk
sorry
about.
about that. That just was burning
Well,
a
there's a
hole in my
stack.
heart.
There,
So
it's
yeah,
all
shout
good.
out
There's a
to I don't
stack
know the
that's
kid.
moving up here. And I have to talk about this stack. I can't believe the words are going to come out of my mouth, Smitty. You're going to die. I know you saw this.
All
Baker
right.
Mayfield and Cade Otton. We have got to talk about what Baker Mayfield is doing. Look at Dynasty. Look, I do not want Baker Mayfield as a quarterback too. That's just how I play the game. Smitty, by the way, I have to tell people that are listening to this pod, you called me out the other day. You know me, I'm always talking about quarterbacks. I love planting my flag on quarterbacks. And finally, you texted me the other day. You're like, what do you have against white quarterbacks, bro?
Y'all don't
Apparently,
understand. This
I don't
man
draft white
loves his
quarterbacks
Russian
anywhere.
quarterbacks. He
Yeah,
loves his
if
Russian quarterbacks, and he has no respect for gunslingers, man.
I'm sorry,
That's
man. If
not
your
true.
name is not Brock Purdy, it's the only white dude I have on any of my squads right now. But Baker, I don't want you as a quarterback two, but I would love you on my team as a quarterback three at this point. You are going to get a decent sized contract right now. You've earned it, but you've built a great relationship. And I think they're going to give him more weapons across there. But I like that young core in there. And I do believe you can go get a Mike Evans real cheap this year. I want to find out where you can get him in a dynasty. But we talked about this, Smitty. I'll fucking give you every single pick I have. I want this talent. I want these players. Like you just go for things in startups. Is Mike Evans not the perfect target right now, knowing that he's got a quarterback that will throw the ball to him?
Dude, he is. I just hope that the Buccaneers do the right thing and pay the man. Because I mean, another 1,000-yard season. I mean, what more can he do at this point? He's taking you guys further into the playoff. I mean, and let me be honest. I mean, if there's anyone that's gonna straight up destroy the Lions, it's gonna be Mike Evans. I mean, like, if it happens. But I mean, yeah, the man's cheap. If you really are going to, if you want to, let's say you made third place this year in a dynasty. Let's say you made second. The first move you better make is Mike Evans. I mean, because imagine him not going for 1K again. I don't see it. And then at the off chance that he's traded to a real contending team that has money to pay him, I mean, he's gonna get like 1.2K at that point.
And that's the thing is I hate older. I really I don't build win now teams and startups usually, but dude, he is a perfect wide receiver for me. Even if I'm not building win now, because let's say he doesn't get 1,000 yards, he's gonna get 10 touchdowns. So the reality is you can plot him against War wherever you want in there, but he's a valuable player, especially on matchups. But Kate Auden is I think he's moving up the charts a lot right now. He had one explosive game, but you kind of saw it. He was drafted to be a good tight end. I mean, he was drafted to be one of these smaller guys that are athletic, that catches balls, like Dalton Kincaid, Sam Laporta. Hasn't shown it yet, but he's shown glimpses. And a lot of things that I talk about with tight ends is why do we get so mad at tight ends if they don't start balling out until they're 26 or 27? Well, tight ends play until they're 31, 32. Like tight ends have a lot. They break out at a much older age usually. So a 25-year-old tight end, I'm not going to hate you. I think you're going to have a good place on my team, and I'm going to find you somewhere in a tight end premium that I want you on my squad, Kate Otten. Kate Otten. What do you think about Kate right now? I mean, did he impress you at all?
Dude, you know what? These Buccaneers players in general, they are the best value in any startup at this moment. You sent me this picture of this startup you're doing that's insanely too early, but juicy. I mean, dude, Baker is a perfect wide receiver three. Uh, I mean, quarterback
QB.
3. Kate Otten is the perfect. If you're trying to really punt, Kate Otten is the perfect tight end 1 quietly for those that are trying to punt the position.
You know
And
I'm going to punt.
no longer a
I'm gonna,
punt. You think that's over with? Oh well,
no.
shoot.
I'm talking about punt. You know I'm going to punt tight end. How many drafts have you done with me over the years? Have you ever seen me go out and get a tight end? I will always
Yeah,
punt a
I
tight end.
wonder when that'll end. I can't wait to see you jump up and get a tight end. Maybe no time soon, but I just want to see that day happen. That's all.
So, do you remember when I told you at the beginning of the year is like our second or third pod we ever did, and I started talking about the tight end positions changed and how more than one or two
Oh
tight
yeah.
ends matter? And that's part of my this is breaking fantasy football, which we'll get into a few things as we go throughout the off season. And I'm going to do a lot of things around breaking the NFL. Tight ends are starting to break the NFL, and we're seeing a much more athletic group. Like I said, these 6'4". I mean, they're not your Gronkowskis. They're not these huge dudes. They're just athletic. A lot of them are converted wide receivers too, so they know how to run routes. And yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of reevaluating tight end right now because it's important. But now I'm thinking to myself, well, crap. Now there's 6 or 7 tight ends that matter to me right now. So I don't have to go get one. So it's like I don't know. It's you know me and tight ends. I'll go back and forth, but we'll figure it out. But let's talk about the fallers. One I want to talk about
Oh,
204, Kyron Williams. Faller. I know you don't want to hear that, but the reality is, you know what we need to see from him to solidify him as a really prime time dynasty target for someone like me that won't go out and go get a running back usually? I need to see him ball out in the playoffs. Didn't see it. Didn't see it. The lines you can run on too. You can catch balls out of the backfield. I wasn't impressed. I'm glad I've sold all my shares. I kind of was regretting it, but I'll never regret when I can get squeeze out somehow a first round draft pick with a running back as a main piece in a trade. 204 fell. Cooper Cup has fallen. I'm sorry, Coop. I love you. This is Puka's world. Puka has it has been clear all year who the better receiver was on that team, Smitty, and it was Puka. And I don't even think it's a question. I don't even think it's a Debo IU question. I mean, it is. Puka was clearly a better receiver. All right, now we'll start with those fallers. How do you feel about those, Smitty?
yeah. Cup has fallen. Yeah, I agree. There's potential for value wherever you get him in a redraft. If you want to pay for him in a dynasty, don't go past the 201. Honestly, I even have to agree. If you really want Cup on your team, don't go higher than the 201. However, Kyron Williams is still very much CMC light. I still think he is. That performance, I understand, was not great. And if I'm gonna just shoot him any type of bail, I'm gonna just say he's not used to that environment. But then again, neither is Puka. So just I don't think the man's a fowler. I mean, the dude got surgery today. You know, his bone. He had a broken bone. Now it's gonna come back stronger than ever. I mean, that's what happens every time this kid has an injury that puts him in surgery. He comes back stronger than ever. It's just history at this point. Yeah, Kyron Williams apparently is going to be a value next year, so scoop on that value if you can. I He is my running back 2 in a lot of leagues. If you really want to lean on him as a 1, your running back 1, I think that's beautiful. I think you could pull that off. But
So let me
running
ask
back
you
2
this.
is probably the most appropriate way to look at him. But I think I don't think he's falling that hard.
Let me ask you this. I am literally on the clock right now with a question
Uh huh.
with Cooper Cup on the board. I am now at the 703. 703 with Cooper Cup, Stephon Diggs, and Devontae Adams all still on the board. My
Those
team right
three.
now, those three, my team right now is went heavy QB in this one. I went Anthony Richardson, I went K1 and Brock Purdy. I drafted a white quarterback, and his name is Brock Purdy. Then I went and drafted
Okay, I
Jalen
like that.
Waddle. Hold on, Jalen Waddle, T. Higgins, and then I actually ended up getting. I was going to draft DK. He went before me, and then some guy reached out to me and said, "Hey, do you want DK?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll give you third." I was going to draft him anyway, so he fits my build good. You know I'm big on DK. By the way, who's the fastest player in football this year? Who was it? I think it was Mr. 6'4", 220 pound DK Metcalf. He
Oh,
ran.
Kalen. Okay, yeah, the Kalen Metcalf. Yeah. Good for her. I
Yeah.
mean him. Good for her. I mean him.
So Kalen, you're
Shout out.
telling me that he's not, I mean, he's in the wide receiver two range right now that I'm drafting. So I can put Cooper Cup on this team right now.
As a wide receiver 3, that's kind of hot. And you
He
said
would be my
it's
wide
between
receiver four.
him
He'd be my wide receiver
4.
four.
Okay. Oh, that's right, because of Kalen. All right. So you said your question is Cup, Diggs, or Adams. Oh man, can I?
Or I'm trying to trade
Or
back right now. And sorry, if anyone is watching this,
smart,
they keep seeing me look down as I
smart,
work on a trade
because
as
that's a
we're doing it.
tough.
So
And he's
George
at the end of
Pickens,
the draft, so it's brilliant.
yeah. So George Pickens and Romeo Dobbs are on the board. I have George Pickens as my higher rated receiver that I would draft right now. Um, I don't know. I'm tier based drafting right now, and I really want to trade back here. I really do. So um, I don't know. Well, I'm going to let that mellow for a little bit, but Cup has definitely fallen. Now, the other ones I want to talk about is every single person that plays on the Dolphins and every single person that plays on the Eagles has fallen. Um, I don't know what happened with the offense of Philadelphia. I think when you look at that, you lose your offensive coordinator, your defensive coordinator, you shift defenses across the board. But I don't know what happened to the offense. DeAndre Swift decided he couldn't run the football anymore. Devontae Smith was getting open. He was doing okay. A.J. Brown was doing okay, but nothing ended up clicking. I mean, there was nothing there. There's nothing there. So if I see someone play like that in a game that they should win, and it's a playoff game, I start saying there's dysfunction inside of the locker room, and that's coaching for me. So until I see a coaching change, I'm going to knock those guys down a peg. I don't think I'm going to knock AJ Brown down a peg, but I'm going to knock Jalen Hurts down a peg because I'd rather have Lamar over Jalen right now. And that just hasn't been the case for really the last year. So I am knocking them down a little bit. Man, what do you think about a guy like Jalen Waddle right now, Smitty? It was a really rough year. It was a lot like Christian Watson. He was injured a lot this year.
I think you are 100% right about every Dolphin. I mean, you really do have to, whatever tier you think they're in the tier below, truthfully. So, yeah, I mean, I don't even know if I want to call him a cornerstone piece anymore, frankly. Like, I really do think it comes down to Tua, and I hate to do that to the kid because I was nervous coming into this year, into 2023 about Tua, and then just throughout the season, he shut me up, right? Tua's been phenomenal, but then towards the end, I'm kind of wary of the kid, so I just tear down all of these Dolphins. I don't know what to say. They're no longer cornerstone pieces, and even Hill, you can just tear him down a bit.
So I
And I
need
also agree. I also agree with the Eagles as well. Like, I mean, let's think of AJ Brown and Tyreek Hill. Those are people that you definitely should cornerstone for a competitive team at least. Um, I just don't feel that way anymore. And maybe a coach change could make me bring them back up. But as of right now, I'm not even saying sell. I'm just saying temper expectations.
Yeah, so I've had something brewing on in my head, and I've been talking a lot about the Dolphins, watching them a lot, and Jalen Waddle really disappeared this year. I know he was injured. I know he had some injuries, but it seemed like Tyreek Hill and the Dolphins had an agreement this year. I just feel like they had an agreement. I feel like Waddle was cool with the agreement, and everybody was. It was, I'm gonna go get 2,000 yards. I need
Yeah.
to do something for myself, and I'm going to give you three of the best years I have left, but you need to give me this in my prime. And I feel like they forced the ball to Tyreek Hill, which, by God, he did amazing. He would have got 2,000 yards if he stayed healthy. But the connection between Jalen Waddle and Tua got almost broken because of it. And I'm curious what this is going to look like next year. If it's going to be like, you know what, T, we gave it to you. You asked us for it, we gave it to you. Now we're going to go run more of a offense that we're going to feed two dogs in. And I'm selling myself on this right now because I picked Jalen Waddle. I traded for Jalen Waddle, and I'm also talking about knocking him down. But I'm trading for him because we shouldn't, but we should. Well, I mean, am I crazy? Am I selling myself here? Am I dynasty selling myself?
Can I be honest? I kind of buy this story completely because I mean, frankly, Tyreek was a first round exit to his former team. He wants this is almost like a Jared Goff situation. Like he wants to beat the Chiefs. He really, really does. So Yeah, if he's gonna, is he gonna get a little less be a little less selfish, more team friendly? Then yeah, I think he's gonna have to give up that goal and just allow the offense to be more open. That's so crazy to say that Tyreek Hill is like holding that offense captive, but he totally is. That man is
Dude,
a
they were beating him.
certified diva.
Yeah,
He
but it
is.
was fun. We were all on board. I think the entire world actually wanted Tyreek to get 2,000 yards because I don't think he's a player that
Oh
anyone really
yeah.
hates. I mean, by the way, they were showing where is it in a Hard Knocks one of the episodes they were showing how the refs come up and talk to players before the game, and one of the older refs, I forget his name, he's a dude that just retired, been here for like 20 years, walks up to Tyreek, he's like, hey. I know you're gonna get a big play today, buddy, but please, just none of this, Tyreek. Please, none of this. And it's like he's warning him, he's begging, he's like, just please don't make me throw the flag because I'm gonna hate to do it. And even the refs want to root for him. So I do. The last one I want to talk about Fallers is, does Joe Flacco play football next year? Does he play football?
I don't think he should. I honestly think he had an incredible story and just let that story die with how it turned out. Um, I mean, is he okay with backing up Watson? Because that's what he's going to have to do. Is he okay with that? If he's fine with it, then fine. Keep it. Then keep it up, big dog. But I think your story was fun while it lasted. It's done. I appreciate you because you won me a title, and that's it. And that's it. Like just that's it. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's
Isn't that
fine. People like
amazing?
me will be happy, right?
Isn't that amazing? 1 week. 1 week, dude. A week ago, NFL Live, everyone was talking about Joe Flacco's going to get a big contract. He's got one more good year left in
Oh
him.
shit.
You know what, old guy? You're falling asleep on the bench. I actually want to see you play football again. But you know what I want to see you do? Kick it on your couch again. Someone's going to get injured. And let's just have the back end run because I don't think Joe Flacco would stay healthy through 17 games. I mean, but you know what? Great story. A lot's changed, but yeah, I don't think he's going to play personally unless someone gets injured again.
Wait, hold on. So you won 3 titles. Did any of them include Joe Flacco? Just out of
Not
curiosity.
one. Not one. To be honest with you, I
Okay.
don't think
Well.
I've ever had Joe Flacco on a dynasty lineup.
Oh well. Hey,
He's white, dude.
proves how bad down my team was. All right, but all right, I hear
Apparently,
you.
I'm a racist drafter for fantasy football. I'm sorry, I don't realize it. But all right, so let's talk about some things that could affect players real quick. Okay, so all you crazy addicts out there, like myself, out there doing dynasty drafts at this exact moment, I want to talk about some players that could get affected with landing spots. And the
Mm,
Falcons are a big one for me. I mentioned this kind of last week on that question that came in for Kyron Williams, or I forget who we were debating.
Bijan.
Bijan. And I said, if Bill Belichick goes there, I don't want anything to do with that. I don't think Bill Belichick is going to have an explosive offense. I mean, he's had a few, and I think that was more Tom Brady, but I'd probably be fading these Falcons if Bill Belichick is a coach there, and I'd be upgrading them if we get a guy like Kellen Moore or someone who's just got an offensive mind in there. But there's one person that I'm afraid that's going to end up in the Falcons, and we're going to be saying we hate him as much as we hate Arthur Sith. Um,
Who?
oh my God, Vrabel, Mike Vrabel. I feel like the culture fits Vrabel. Like I feel like they still want that badass, that run the ball, I don't know. I just feel like it's a really good fit. And if you go back with Vrabel, he did a lot with Tennessee when they had a quarterback no one thought could play quarterback in Ryan Tannehill. So he's done it without a quarterback and made a quarterback before. So I'm upgrading if Vrabel goes there, but downgrading if Billy B. And I mean, what's your thoughts on the Falcons right now? I mean, what type of offense do you want to see go there?
This is what I'm gonna tell myself, knowing that I'm wrong. But this is what I'm gonna tell myself on whatever team Bill Belichick goes on is coaching for. I'm gonna tell myself that man desperately wants to beat the Shula record for the most wins of any coach, and if he wants to do that, he's gonna have to. I mean, he already said he wants to take a team that's been underperforming and bring them to glory. He wants to be that guy, which is respectable, honestly. But if he wants to do that and he wants some wins before he gets too old to do this, I think he's gonna have to reevaluate some things. So I believe wherever team he'll be at will be fine. I even potentially imagine an upgrade. So I think I'm okay with Belichick. I am. I'm very okay with it.
So Bill Belichick, let's say that he goes to the Chargers, okay? Because everyone says it's a really good landing spot. He's
Fire.
got himself a quarterback. From a dynasty perspective, would you be selling players because of a Bill Belichick hype? Would you try to tear down from those players, or would you want to buy in, believing that hype if he went somewhere like the Chargers?
I mean, players, no, definitely not QJ, but I would be trying to see if I can get to Justin Herbert. Now, frankly, I don't even know where his value's at now. Um, just
He was
considering what these
quarterback three in
rookies
the
have been
draft I'm
doing.
doing. QB three in
Did
the
you say
draft I'm doing.
three?
QB three.
You said
Yep.
no. Well, no, no, that I don't like that at all. That is way too high.
He went before Hurts, Jackson, Stroud, Burrow, and that's about where he should be. I think right after. Yeah, I think maybe before Burrow. I don't know, right in that range.
Yeah, bottom 10 is great. With Belichick, I think he's gonna actually stay the same. And but I know someone's gonna be like you and be like, "Oh no, Belichick's the worst for this offense," and that is the type of person I want to target. So, yeah, out of all the players, I would be looking to go into upgrade whatever my situation is up to Herbert, and I would have to do that before the first game.
I'm going to be terrified to see what my inbox is for trade offers for the team that Belichick decides to go coach. Everybody's going to come after my players. They're going to make me put my money where my mouth is. I know it. I can see it. So let's talk Commanders. I just feel that there is a really good landing spot for some Commanders out there. I think they've got okay offensive line. I think they've got a couple good receivers. We'll see what Johan Dotson can do. Last year was just atrocious for Dotson. I mean, outside of
Mm.
that one game, it just the wheels fell off, and I don't know where it went wrong. Ron Rivera's never, outside of that, run the ball and having Cam Newton score 20 touchdowns, have never really had that humongous high-powered offense. So I want to see a really good offensive mind go to the Commanders. Could that be Eric Bieniemy? Because I don't think I've seen anything with them saying they let him go. So right now he's still contracted as their offensive coordinator. So is that something that he might step up and become the coach and get that Andy Reid, tree going, coaching tree going, or do they look elsewhere?
I think they totally should stay in home because like you said, he's from the Chiefs. I think we really got to see. All I know is whoever goes to Commanders will have a fun time because they get to mold this team the way they want. So we get to really see personality from these coaches show. So and if I want anyone's offense emulated, it's the Chiefs. So you're right. Let's give Bieniemy some more responsibility here. Let him mold
Yeah.
that offense. See what we got.
I hope we can get to see, what really was the issue because the offense looked like crap. Did
Mm.
Rivera try to have too much control over that? They had a, they had a defensive problem throughout the year. I mean, it was just it was a wreck. But somebody needs to start and forgive everyone out there. I can't remember some coaches' names sometimes for coordinators, but the offensive coordinators for the Houston Texans, someone needs to go hire that man. Look what he just did. That's not all Ryan as the coach. There is a
Yeah, what was
lot.
that kid's name again? What was his name?
I forget, man. I just forget off the top of my head. I'm horrible with
Like
offensive
it's a
coordinators.
popular name too. Yeah, I'm gonna look it up because
Yeah.
it's a name that's stuck on my head, but I forgot.
Yeah, but a guy like Kellen Moore, and that would be interesting if Bill Belichick goes to LA, does Kellen Moore stay as the offensive coordinator? Because, I mean, the Cowboys just couldn't handle the way he called plays before, so they decided to run the ball more and then not run the ball more. So, yeah, but I like the Commanders' landing spot. It's going to be interesting to see who coaches the Seahawks. This is, from my mindset
Ooh.
of where a lot of my attention is being spent right now. I have a little too much exposure to DK Metcalf in the portfolio. I do. Um,
What a
I,
great problem to have.
it's a great problem to have, but I'm just really curious who the coach is going to be there. And what is the relationship with the quarterback going to be like? Is it going to be Geno? I don't want Geno on my fantasy squad at this point. If I have someone that's going to pay me any type of capital that's somewhat in the value of Geno that thinks he's going to be a starting quarterback the next few years, they can have him because I don't believe they're going to figure out something. That was a bro fest. That was a bro fest between Pete Carroll and Geno. It sure as hell isn't going to be Drew Lock. So Do they bring Russ back? Was it a Pete Carroll and Russ thing, and Russ is going to come save the
Oh
day?
my God.
I'm going to puke. I'm
That
going to
would be
puke if that
interesting.
happens. Ugh.
But if I'm being honest, okay, so I got the kid's name. His name is Bobby Slowick. He's the offensive coordinator for the Texans. Kind of the perfect person, right? The perfect person for the Seahawks, right? Like this kid. I mean, Jesus, with that offense, give him a young quarterback. This team could be just as exciting as the Texans. And personally, I don't want that because he's in our division. But
I think the Seahawks should go get Arthur Smith. That's who I think we should get, or we should go get the magician. Let them go get the magician. Just go hire a shitty coach, Seattle, please, please. Let us just roll over you two games a year. I beg you, I beg you. But
I'm sorry, you actually completely convinced me with Arthur Smith. I think that is the you did it. You did it. That's terrific.
you
Actually,
heard it,
I
Seahawks.
want that.
We're a pro Arthur Smith podcast. By the way, anyone's ever listened to our other podcasts, it's been an FU Arthur Smith for a very, very long time out there. So, Titans. I'm really curious to see what's going to happen to the Titans. Someone's going to blow up there. It's just an absolute mess there at the moment. They whipped on Burks. I think King Henry's out the door. Who's really the quarterback there? I mean, yeah, it looks like Manana, but could Malik Willis actually play? I don't know, but wherever it is, I don't like the quarterback situation. I think the Titans I will avoid at all cost in dynasty and redraft at the moment. For the same purpose, I'm pretty much fading also all Carolina players on both sides. Is I don't play with a long enough mindset that's 3 years out. I want a 2 year window for any of my thoughts. Usually a 12-month window is how I like to play even a dynasty. So um, I'm really curious to see what happens there. I think both of those organizations are a mess right now. Anything good in Carolina, Smitty, that you could even write about, or if they got some crazy coach, would you be like, yes?
It's really just a sit and watch. I mean, because that's a whole experiment. I mean, whoever gets their hands on that team, please just go Dan Campbell. It just be a little scary, be a little aggressive, and figure something out. I mean, inspire fear in these kids' heart and make them scare us equally. So we need a Dan Campbell type on those,
Oh,
especially in Tennessee. We need a Dan Campbell in Tennessee for real.
no, the problem is they just fired Dan Campbell's doppelganger right there. That's for sure. So
Yeah.
I want to know your theories. Yeah, let's jump off Dynasty because you know me, I like to talk some real football here and there, and then we're going to get into some debates. We'll be doing this about another 15 minutes or so, guys. So let's talk divisional round matchups. Texans Ravens. Who you got on this one? I know we talked a little bit about this. You said it's going to be closer than we thought, but did you think maybe Houston could squeak out a victory?
I can see a world where I see a world where any of these teams happen. Like, this is probably how some people felt about the Lions Rams game. I was too into it too deep to even see it like that, but this is really one of those truly even teams to me, to where I just want a good game. I'm one of those people with this. I just want a good game because I really cannot choose. I can't. I'm happy for either team that wins.
I'm too, CJ Stroud. I'm sorry, the journey ends here. You're not going up the rankings any higher than you already are. If you go out there and smoke Lamar, you probably are. But trade ends here. Now, 49ers Packers. Who do you love?
Ooh, ooh! If love can pull it off, if love can pull it off, because I think about this matchup so much. I mean, like, the thing that San Francisco's gonna have to deal with is the fact that they have an incredible amount of weapons, man. Like, can they even handle that? Can they
Yeah,
really, like,
yeah, they can
can they
handle
handle the fact that there's a weapon everywhere? Like,
it. Yeah,
do they even have like the ability?
he has a name.
Let me tell you something about these 69ers real quick. Do you know that on week 18, the week where you're supposed to typically rest your starters, they started the Rams obviously started Puka Nacua because we needed to get that rookie record. What people do not talk about that game is that they started the 69ers started their starting defense. They started their the number one cornerback on Puka Nacua to make sure he didn't get that record. And the fact of the matter is, he didn't get it until the third quarter because of that. Like, that's so pathetic. You boys, man, come on.
This this is the reason the Green Bay Packers are not winning this football game. He has a name.
What?
He has a name, and yes, they can guard all those guys because they have Fred Warner. They have Fred Warner.
That's
He
one
is
player. That's one
it,
player. That's one
dude.
weapon.
You get on the
He
field
has
with him,
Aaron.
you'll think
He
they're
needs to
having
deal with
13
Aaron Jones.
players out there because it's way more than one player when Fred Warner's out there. He is the defensive player of the year. He is going to be up in the grill of Jordan Love all game. Jordan Love, it ends here, dude. You and CJ Stroud, it's been a great ride.
Oh my God.
It ends here, dude. It ends
Water
here.
bet.
I'm sorry.
Water bet time. Water. I'm so. Oh, I'm
Are we
so
up? All
upset.
right.
You really say water bet
Oh
on
yeah.
this game in particular. Packers
Wait,
win. You get wet.
you're real.
Wait. Yeah.
You're
And
really
then if
taking
the
the Packers
69ers
in
win,
this
of course,
game?
I'll
I'm not giving
say
you
what?
points. We're talking straight up. You're going to take the Packers right now.
Yeah, 100%.
All right.
I'm
Water
telling you, there's
bet.
too many weapons. I mean, they have two tight ends that can get it done too. Like this is a handful. This is a mess. Like I'm.
You better turn your phone
This
off
is.
because every single time the announcer mentions the name Fred Warner, you're going to get a text. You are going to get at least
You better
probably
not, dude, because I
25
can't with
texts
that.
of how much he is destroying the Green Bay team. So, all
Bro,
right.
he
So,
couldn't get it done. He couldn't get it done against Zay freaking Flowers, dude.
stop it. Stop
OBJ, old man Obi. I mean, I'm
Stop it.
just not. I'm
It's
not
it's
hearing
any
this.
given Sunday. It's any given Sunday. Teams can lose. There's a reason that we've only had two undefeated teams in the history of the NFL. Okay, like
Yeah,
it's a
that is a
long
very good point.
season.
All right.
Things come up, so you can't judge them from a game 3 4 weeks back. Now Lions Bucks. Who are you taking in this one? I'm on the Lions side. You know I'm on the Lions side. Are you willing to take the Bucks in this game?
To be honest, I I to see like my vitriol for the freaking Lions fans have really gone to a dangerous point to where I can't even. Did you know that when Matthew Stafford was traded, Detroit was doing this thing called Detroit Rams, where they just gave us like support, like they were just supporting the Rams
People
because
are
of
good.
Matthew Stafford. That was beautiful. And you know what? I want to do LA Lions so bad. I want to do it. I want to do it, but I can't because of that disrespect I saw. So if they manage to win this game, great. And then they go play the 69ers, right? If they win that game, then I am the biggest Lions fan you ever seen in your life. Because that's when they'll get my respect. So this game, I don't care. I actually do think they'll smoke the Bucks, but I need them to win the NFC title, and then I could be then I can Lions it out. But that's what I need. So
Bucks
I don't
top
know.
tier.
I mean, the Bucks do have a way to win this. Frankly, like that
Bucks top
secondary
tier.
can be beat. That secondary can be beat. And honestly, Baker does not care about a scary. Baker does not care about Aiden Hutchinson. I promise the God he doesn't. He really doesn't. Because Kate Otten is like right here. Hey man, I know he's on your ass. Come on. Like it's like
I like the
Baker
K
doesn't care
take.
about Aiden Hutchinson. He really doesn't.
Uh,
But
you want to do water bet? It sounds like you're going the Bucks here because I'm taking the Lions.
unfortunately, just because of how I feel emotionally, I can give a damn how this game goes.
All right, we're off
I
this
just
one.
need.
So, so who do you got in the new Peyton Brady Bowl? Who do you got? Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes
Oh,
this week? Dude, it's Josh Allen time. It's Stallion time, dude. It is Stallion time. Patrick Mahomes is finally going to his freaking house. It is the Stallions' time. I don't know. That's where I'm at.
and the thing is, I fully agree with you. Like, this is one of those situations where, if the 69ers didn't beautifully collapse against the Eagles, who knows what happened. And unfortunately, the Chiefs are in that collapsey situation. And this is all the Bills ever wanted, right? This is what the Bills have been dying for. They've been dying for a chance to beat the brakes off the Chiefs. And if they don't do it now, they may not ever. They may not ever because this is their best chance to
Yep.
get back.
Yeah.
This is probably like on paper the best. I mean, revenge narrative, the best game of the slate.
I really want Josh Allen just to think about that feeling of that overtime game that they
Mm-hmm.
literally had to change the rules of football because they lost it. I want him to channel the anger he had at the end of that game and go out there and destroy the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes, and I want
I
Stephon
would
Diggs to step it up for that reason too.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I do think that the Ravens are going to come out of the AFC. But if they have to meet Josh Allen right now, that is the hardest. I'd much rather not have that path for them. That is, dude. Josh Allen just took a 53-yarder. Did you see that crap in that fake slide he did to go out there and the kind of the D bag was like, oh, he's sliding. Oh shit, he's not.
Dude, I heard about it, and it makes me do want to watch the highlights of that game because I heard amazing things. But
Dude, it was
dude,
cool.
and a dream AFC matchup, NFC matchup, Bills and Ravens. That is a dream matchup I have got to see, and then Lions 69ers. Those are the two. That's what I need. I need that to happen. So I guess I'm going for Lions. I guess I am. Oh, I guess I'm also going for the 69ers. Alrighty. I mean, I do need. I want
Dude, you're
that,
getting
right?
excited about this. Okay, here we go. All right, so
Yeah. I mean, my heart's in the trash right now. Let's go.
we're about ready to do a one-round rookie draft in here. But can we say what our hearts really want? Look it. I don't think it's going to happen, but can we say what our hearts really want, Smitty? How
For the
badly
overall
do you
Super
want to
Bowl.
see? I want to see C.J. Stroud play Jordan Love in the NFC Championship game so bad. That would be like you've been with me through this journey of me loving these two players. Like how just cool and good feeling and emotional would that be? Just watching like, wow, that's awesome. Like that's absolutely awesome.
I have to. I need them to understand. This is so rude. I need them to understand that this is big boy talk. Like only veterans get this far. I'm sorry. Like I mean, it's exciting that they got this far, but no, this is big boy talk. Like I need them to be humbled, like Goff was when he got up here with the Rams last time, and then the next year they can come up. But I need when it comes to Super Bowls, I need straight up Titan, like not Titans, but I need straight up veterans. I need guys that have been wanting this for a minute. I
Yep.
want guys who've had this opportunity taken away from them. I want people who are pissed off, not these young kids talking about, oh, I guess we're the biggest thing in the sport. let's do our best, guys. No, no, no. I need men that are pissed to show up and hurt the other team.
I
So yeah, I
know.
mean, I hear what you're saying, and this is a dynasty podcast, so that would be great for dynasty. But just no, not no. I need men. Pause.
Dude, they would be untouchable. Jordan Love and CJ Stroud. I mean, they like CJ Stroud is untouchable. Jordan Love, there's still a path right now. There's a path that you can find to get him, but if that happens, untouchable. All right, let's give the people what they want. Let's look at this rookie, this way too early, ridiculous mock draft that we're going to do in the first round. And anyone listening to these podcasts moving forward will know that especially me, Smitty's a little bit different, but I don't necessarily care the name of the player. I don't think I know where everyone's going. I remember when Malik Willis was projected as a top 3 pick in the NFL draft. I don't know, before he did his combine draft actually started, and then he just fell off all the boards. So this is way too early. None of this is going to be right by the time it rolls around. But God, I want to talk about some rookies coming in and people that could break fantasy football. So Smitty, we're
That's what
going to
makes
debate
this
this.
exciting.
You're up. I'm going to give you the 101. Who do you got in the 101? By
Okay,
the way,
and
this draft. Hold
just
on. Let me
double
give the
checking.
setting. Hold on. Let me give the settings
Okay,
for the draft. So we are a super flex. We will always be super flex if you ever listen to this. This is going to be a start 10 format. So that means we got obviously QB, 2 RBs, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 2 flexes that can have a wide receiver, running back, or tight end, and then we got the super flex position that can be anything you want. We're doing a PPR format. We're doing a 1.5 tight end premium, which does not mean you get 2.5 points from the tight end. It just means you get an extra half point per reception from the tight end spot. And we are also going to draft as if we have big play bonuses for 100 yards, 200. You know what? You can figure out what, it doesn't matter what they are. They're just something's there, probably a point here, a point there. And that's where we're at. And we'll also be saying that there's obviously negative points for interceptions, those things. So, Smitty, you're up on the 101. I can't wait to debate this.
so this is gonna be so. I mean, it genuinely. bef- I have to go Jaden Daniels 101. Jaden Daniels because I think he is genuinely landing spot proof. And that's why I choose him. That's my only reason, frankly, because I just don't think The other quarterbacks are as landing spot proof as Jaden Daniels, and plus his rushing ability. I've seen a game where he literally ran for 200 yards and then maybe threw for 250. Like that was nuts to me. And that's what the
So
kid does like on a daily basis out in LSU. I want that on my team. I need that on my team. So Jaden Daniels is my 101.
so you've talked a lot about Jaden Daniels. Um, I'm starting to agree with you there a little bit. I mean, I still have Caleb Williams as my QB1, but here's the deal. This is before combine. This is before the NFL takes a look at this. So when it comes to QBs, I have always trusted what the NFL thinks of them versus what I feel about them. And really, if I
Mm.
go back through time, there's only one time that has really been burned, and it was last year. It was Bryce Young. And there were some intangibles that Bryce Young didn't have. He wasn't big. He was small. He had small hands. He had all this stuff. And you know what? He ran out a GM. He ran out a coach. They made the wrong choice. And then you go look at what CJ Stroud did. You made the wrong choice. But traditionally, the draft order of those QBs does matter to me. Um, I wouldn't be drafting him at the 101, but I can grow to that. If he's the first quarterback taken off the board or the second with a better landing spot. And second, a better landing spot. So here's a draft. So let's just for all purposes say Justin Fields ran out of the Bears and Caleb Williams goes to the Bears and Jaden Daniels goes to Washington. You put those two up against each other. I just got done talking about what I like about Washington and their weapons. Um, Bears do have weapons too, though, but that would be interesting. That would be a tough decision. Or if Jaden Daniels goes to Minnesota, like I talked about last week, where maybe they move up to go get their quarterback because they're ready to move on. So I like that. I'm really mad that you went there first. I thought you were going to Caleb Williams because at the 102, God, I hate that this is going to. I hate that we do this public. Oh God, I hate that we do this public. This is going to
Got
ruin
him.
everything.
Got
No,
him.
God, you know what? I just had a moment where I don't think we should be doing this. But you know what? I'm going to give the people what they thought. I like playing in competitive leagues. I believe people should be thinking this as well. Um, Marvin Maserati Harrison Jr. Mar's my 101 across the board. I know we're playing in a super flex, but you know what I want? I want players that could potentially break fantasy football. We've watched Puka come in. We've watched Tank Dell. We've watched some really good receivers come in and break fantasy football. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. I mean, some huge numbers. Marv is a higher rated wide receiver coming out of college than Jamar Chase was. And he
Oh,
is probably more hyped than Bijan Robinson was last year. He is by far the one dude that I say can be a friggin' absolute, disruptor in a fantasy football standpoint. So Marv is my pick. He's the 101 across the board. I don't care what format I'm in. I'll never draft for needs on a team. I don't care. He's the one difference maker I think that can be in here. And I think you have a better opportunity of hitting on a receiver like Marvin than you do a quarterback. Quarterbacks can flop. Look at Trevor Lawrence. How highly rated was
mm.
Trevor Lawrence when he came out? And are you happy? Did you get the player you thought you were going to draft? Because that answer is no across the board. He's not even in the. He was a late second rounder in the draft that I just did right now. So Marv, 102. You're up on the 103. I think it's probably a pretty easy one at the probably.
I'll say this to be honest with you. I think that was the perfect way to go because he is him and Jaden Daniels, in my opinion, are the only two players that are matchup. I mean, that are landing spot proof. So I think he did a great job. I got Caleb Williams, the USC quarterback, at 3. And the thing is, I'm terrified because a landing spot could really ruin who I think of this kid. Like Chicago, oh, I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to be pissed if he's in Chicago. I'm going to fade him hard if he's in
What if
Chicago.
he goes
Like,
to New England? I'm just going to read. I'm just going to read
sorry,
some
say
teams
what?
here. Top of the draft. I'm just going to read some
Okay.
teams. So we talked about Washington. I just did with him. What if New England comes up and gets him, or it goes in the order you thought, and he ends up being a third pick? Um, do you like New England as a landing spot?
Um, Mayo is defensive minded, right? I'd rather he go to a place that's offense minded. I'm sorry, no.
Yep, I agree. Wouldn't like it.
And
New
if
York
I'm,
Giants.
and you know what? I would
New York
rather have
Giants are
Jaden
drafting at
Daniels
the fifth.
out there.
Yeah, so New York Giants are drafting at the 6. They could possibly have the ammunition to come up and get Caleb. Would you like the
Oh
landing
wait,
spot?
you said the Giants?
New York Giants, yeah, they're drafting. They got the
Oh
sixth
my
pick right
God,
now. So
he'll be back to 101 then. Oh, he will absolutely be in 101 because they got Dayball, the quarterback maker. Let's go.
okay, okay.
But that's a
So
lot of work he doesn't really need to do, if I'm being honest.
now a team I would love. I don't know if they've got the ammunition to do this. If Atlanta gets an offensive-minded coach and can come up from the 8 to maybe go get Caleb, that would be a scenario that I would really like a lot, a lot. They've got some good
Yep,
tools
that'd
there.
be 101 material.
All right, so 104. So this is going to be interesting to me, and this is where the NFL draft is really going to matter and what they think. Because obviously, if I look at something, I'd say the quarterback's more important, obviously in a super flex format. So I'm probably taking Drake May here, but I also need to see how the NFL is going to evaluate two players, and that's Malik Neighbors and Roba Dunze. Those I want to see what they really think about these ones because those two kids are really talented, and one or not both have been talked about as good almost as Marv is. But I want to see it. If Romer Malik is a top 10 draft pick, sign me up. I mean, I really like what I've seen on paper. So, I'd probably say right now I'm going Drake May. That's the pick I'm going to make today. But those receivers are going to be on my mind depending on how the NFL feels about them. So who do you have on the 10? What are we on? 105?
Five. You said this is tied in premium.
Yeah, half point.
1.5. That's cool. Yeah, Malik Neighbors for sure. You got Big Marv, and I like that for you. But I'm very happy with Neighbors. Frankly, I think, geez, just these LSU boys have been so cool. Like, I mean, what a great team. Would have been nice to see them in the playoffs. Too bad they lost a couple games. But yeah, let's go Malik for me. Malik got up LSU.
Excellent. You're writing this down, right?
Oh yeah,
Okay, good. Because I have you read it after. So yeah, I like Malik there. I'm gonna next pick for me at the 106 will depend on how the NFL feels about Brock Bowers because this is going to get into what I was talking about at the beginning. Is some players are breaking NFL right now, and this guy's profile is really good. And this is about where I'm starting to consider him. So in this format, he doesn't mean as much to me as a 1.75 would. 1.75, he's coming off the board or more at this point for me above probably the other wide receiver that's out there. 1.5, which is what we're doing here, I'm going to draft Roma Dunze above him, but I have a really good feeling that Brock Bowers will go right after him at the 107.
and I think you made the right pick. Not because I wanted Brock badly, but because I think that his performance during the Natty was just unfortunate, and I think that should be ignored, frankly. So, and for every single player that played, I think that performance should be ignored for all of them because it made them all look kind of ass. So good pick. Yeah, I'm definitely going Brock Bowers. Very excited for him, and I just he got to play for the Chargers, man. He got to do it. They have to make that happen.
I'd love to see it happen. It's just it'd be great. I turned into a huge Brock Bowers fan. I'm gonna find a way to get him on some of my squads, and I'm not a big tight end guy. But now when I look at the 108, this is honestly where I'm probably trying to trade out. As we sit today,
Oh, really?
I think we just hit the cutoff unless a couple things happen. If the NFL believe in Penix Jr., if they go out and he becomes a first round draft pick, this is probably about the spot I would be drafting Penix in because I do believe in him watching him all year. I think he has the ability, if his injuries aren't a big concern to NFL teams, and if he gets in a spot that he can be actually a starter, I'm willing to take a bet on Penix here. I'm also willing to take a bet on Nix here if the NFL believes in him as well. The other wide receivers out there, that's where I'd be looking at right now if the NFL doesn't believe in those other two. But for all intents and purposes right now, I'm going to say the NFL believes in Penix Jr., and I'm going to take him at the 108.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I think that was the perfect pick. And there's a world where I'd choose him over Browse at 107. Phoenix is great. I like him a lot. Let's go. I'm just telling that Natty ruined everyone. That it just ruined everyone. God, that game was unfortunate. Um,
He really did, man. If he went out
I
there and
love. I
destroyed,
think Bo Nix was a great option. I kind of want to do it.
he's got to get a job somewhere, possibly.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I thought Bo Nix was great. I'm so glad you mentioned him. Yeah, I'm
I
going Bo
want to
Nix
say,
at 109.
can we nickname him Banana Rama Jr.? It just seems like they're the same guy, but one's just slightly smaller.
That's
Sorry, I had that joke. I didn't. I wanted to wait around for it. Okay.
Oh, you were ready for that? That's crazy. I thought you
I
came up with that
was.
on the
That's also why
spot.
I didn't draft him. I wanted to make it. So, all right, 110. I'm going to take whatever probably the best position wide receiver that might be first or top second round. So, Keon Coleman is probably the highest rated one for Florida State right now, like a size, speed, that type of thing. 6'4", 215. Great frame. I think 110. I'm probably taking him there. Um, we'll see where the landing spot on the running backs are, but I'm not drafting running backs right now. So you got an 11 and 12. Or you got the 11, and I'll close it out with the 12.
Okay, so you said Keon Coleman. Okay, you know what? I know you don't want to do it, and honestly, I already know his role. I already know what his role is going to be. His role is going to be Leonard Fournette, basically, and that's not going to be as valuable as we think. And it damn sure is not a first round value, but I am sipping that Blake Corum Kool Aid, man. I am interested. And I know for a fact, once they get to the NFL, his role is going to be very specific. It's going to be very specific, and it may not even be that great dynasty wise because that man is like, I mean, he's basically David Montgomery. Like he'll punch it in as soon as you ask, and I think that could be valuable. But I think he's going to be in a role a little shittier than
I
that.
I will take anybody that can be referenced as David Montgomery on my team all day of the
I
week.
mean,
I
just
want a
I'm
guy who's
just looking
tough.
at this kid been punching it in. And the thing is, they make him do it the entire game, which is so crazy. Like the offense, from what I've seen of Michigan, that offense is him, which is why
Yeah,
I don't want any parts of JJ in the first. But
but the
I
Smitty, the
have to
offense
get
was
him. I've been
also
sipping the
Charbonnet.
Kool Aid, man. Say
The
what?
offense was Charbonnet last year. So I mean, I've seen this before, but this is where I started getting into liquidity and why I want just picks across the board because there might be a back I can go get top second, back end of the first that might fit into my squad where I just need to place running backs in there because I do agree he probably is going to be running back 1 through 3 off the board. We'll see. He's definitely not a first rounder though. Um,
I'll agree. I just wanted to talk about him. I
ah,
wanted to draft him. I had to.
I love it.
You
Hold
know me. I
on.
love my running backs.
Oh my gosh, I just closed out my. Hold on a second. Hold on. Where's my list? There we go. All right. So I'll close it out on the 12 right now. Um, oh man, I will probably. I'll just probably go Xavier Worthy, a wide receiver out of Texas. He's all around guy. I know he's small, he's 170. But you know what? We've seen people look at. I'm not going to knock wide receivers in size any longer. You got the Sun God out there. You got Tank Dell. I mean, small wide receivers can play in this freaking football game. If you're a small quarterback, I will never draft you. I will never draft anyone Bryce Young size remotely again. I mean, Kyler Murray's don't come around that often. But in the wide receiver, I just don't care anymore. Just give me somebody with speed, then get out there. So we'll close it out with that. Smitty, recap the draft for us.
All right. I'm sorry. You said Xavier Worthy.
I'm sorry, what was that, Smitty?
You said
Xavier
Xavier
Worthy, yeah,
Worthy.
wide receiver Texas. Wide receiver Texas.
All right. So 101, who was me. So, well, how should I do this? Should I just name my team in there? I'm gonna just go down. So
Nah, just go
101,
down.
Jaden Daniels. Yeah, 101, Jaden Daniels, quarterback. Number 2, Marvin Harrison, receiver. Number 3, 103, Caleb Williams, quarterback. Number 4, Drake May, quarterback. 105, Malik Neighbors, receiver. Number 6, Romo Dunze, receiver. 107, Brock Bowers, tight end. 108, Michael Penix Jr., quarterback. 109, Bo Nix, quarterback. 110, Keon Coleman, receiver. Look, this isn't appropriate, but I just had to talk about him. 111, Blake Corum, running back, and 112 to wrap it up, Xavier Worthy, receiver. Cool.
I'm
I
gonna
like
have
that draft.
I'm gonna have so much fun looking back at this in 3 months after we got the NFL draft, everything. We're gonna be like, what the hell were we talking about? This is ridiculous, dude. It's gonna be so wrong. Once we'll really get going, but you know what? We like just doing these things. So, Smitty, look it. That's all we got on football today. I want to have a Nirvana conversation with you. I always like to debate something as we're leaving here. I know we're going pretty long today, but you know what? We're having fun and screw it. We're middle-aged men. Well, I'm middle-aged. You're still kind of young. Stay young. Don't. I know you just turned 30, but just stay there, dude. Don't get into your 40s. It sucks. Sucks. Absolutely sucks, dude. So let's talk some Nirvana albums. So this was more my youth. And Smitty, what I love about you, man, is you somehow just love music that was just one generation before you. And I friggin' absolutely adore it. So, this was a band that came around that changed everything in my life. And I just thought it'd be cool to debate. We did Metallica last week, which was a great, one of the best bands ever. So let's talk Nirvana. So I think, can we both agree that Nevermind is probably their best album? Are you on that page?
To be honest with you, I would only say that if, because I've had this debate happen so many times. I will only agree that it's their best album if we absolutely can't include the MTV Unplugged. And if that's the case, because I understand when people say no, if you're going to include that, they might as well include Live at Reading and all these other EPs, and that makes sense. So I won't argue it. But if I
So
cannot include MTV Unplugged, say what?
If we do include MTV Unplugged, that's the best album.
That's my opinion. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So in the other podcast, we did a draft and we were drafting like best like 90s alternative music, and I ended up taking the Unplugged album when our other buddy took Nevermind. I think that's awesome. We can take the live out of there. We can. Let's talk about that one just at the end. Nevermind was great, man. I'm almost a 43-year-old man. I was younger, had an older sister, so I got into these bands and these punk bands and these grunge bands and this distortion on music when I was really young. I went to a lot of concerts when I was young. Got into things I should never have gotten into, and I saw Nirvana when I was really, really, really young, man. Like really, like teens young, which was just awesome. But the Nevermind album to me was their best album because I just think there was two moments in my life during music when I was young. It was before Thriller, after Thriller, and before Smells Like Teen Spirit and after Smells Like Teen Spirit. It changed everything. And I went through the list, and this is why I think it was the best album, because I think it was their most complete album. There's another album I really love by them, but if you go down the track list, Smells Like Teen Spirit, followed by In Bloom, Come As You Are, Breed, Lithium, Polly, my favorite Nirvana song, Territorial Pissings, because that thing just gets me friggin' going. Then Drain You, Lounge Act, Stay Away, and On a Plane. When I look at that complete list of songs, what an incredible journey that those three individuals, three people, and dude, they play 5 power chords. Anybody can play their music. It's ridiculous how easy their music is and how simple it is, but good Lord, that was absolutely amazing. Now, when you think of other albums other than Nevermind, and talk to me about the playlist on Nevermind, is there any other album outside, let's take Unplugged out for a while. Is there anything else that Nirvana was doing that is almost as good as Nevermind to you? Because there's one for me.
To be honest with you, I understand. No, because you hit it right on the head. That is indeed their most complete album. Now, when we look at In Utero, I honestly think there are some misses. I think there's some duds, low-key. But I'm looking at the track list now, and I will say this. Something in the Way was a dope way to end Nirvana, and All Apologies is once again a dope way to end In Utero. They knew how to end albums. My God. And but yeah, just when it comes to In Uteros, it's my personal opinion. It's just the hits for me. The other songs, depends on the day, but it's the hits for me In Utero. And I would understand if someone says that's their best. I think that is a true Nirvana fan's answer. But I'm not there. I'm not there.
See, In Utero, and this is where the journey of Nirvana almost ended for me, was In Utero, because My first stuff I was hearing that my sister was playing to me, before Nevermind even came out was, right before was Incesticide. And that was just, to me, just this outrageous, like simple songs in this awesome, like punk grunge format of music I had listened to that transformed that into it. That then came out later that year with Nevermind, which changed music forever, I think, just changed music forever. And then when In Utero came out, I was a little bit older, and it was like right as I heard it, it was like, fuck, it's over. It was like Nirvana's over because it got too commercial. What I loved about it was that just we're gonna play what we want to play and this and that, and then I still remember the heart-shaped box video. It was just like, come on, man, like it just got away from it. So that's what bugs me about In Utero. But as I got older, I can go back and look at it. That really was a beautiful album. I just didn't like it because it wasn't the band wasn't going the direction I wanted to.
It's
But
tough to follow a classic, man. It's impossible, honestly.
yeah, I mean, I remember you were too young for this, Smitty, but Walmart wouldn't sell In Utero because of that song "Rape Me" in there, and he had to change the lyrics. I think it was to "Ape Me" or something like that, or just something stupid. It was just, dude, it drove him nuts. But that was also part of the, we need parental, disclosures, and Walmart wouldn't sell it because he's talking about rape. He's like, listen to this song. He's not talking about being raped. He's talking about just his soul being taken from him. I mean, it's like, so I really like that a lot. But I want for anyone that hasn't that's listening still, and maybe you're younger than me or older than me and never really got a chance to listen to Incesticide. These were some amazing songs that were on here. You've got Molly's Lips, which was just an incredible song. Son of a Gun, amazing song. Silver was on there as well, and it ended with Aneurysm, and then also Errol Zeppelin on there. Those were some really good songs. It wasn't as complete as Nevermind, but Smitty, did you ever listen to Incesticide?
Frankly, no, I did not.
No. Yeah, it's one of those.
But I do want to quickly talk about Bleach real quick. Um, I just want to say this: Bleach, dope album, just a little too punky for me, but it's really dope. Like, ah, God, it might be the best punk thing I've ever really, the closest thing to punk that I really enjoy the most, and it's still even a little too edgy for me. I just wanted to mention it while we're here.
And I'm glad you did because that's exactly where this band started. And I was around with the Bleach album. I mean, I was young, but look, I heard Incesticide first that got me into Bleach, and Bleach, then those both got me into Nevermind, and then I just kept going. But it was just distortion coming out of the speakers that was just nothing I'd ever heard. It was like punk, but it wasn't punk. It was like, what the fuck is this? And it just kept growing. And that's why when it got to In Utero, it was like, it's nothing like it had no punk left in it.
Oh,
It really was just alternative music at that point. And it turned into pop music. Smitty, we'll talk about this on here. You know what pisses me off whenever it says, oh, that's too pop. That's too pop. Anybody that sold 1 million albums out there is pop music. Because guess what pop means? It means it's popular. People like it. So yes,
popular.
Nirvana got too pop. Yeah, exactly. Every type of music is popular. So anything else?
and I think I just want to say, like, the word pop, like, let's not. That's nothing wrong with it. In fact, that's a phenomenal achievement. So, if they're too pop, hey, guess what? The world fucks with them now.
Exactly. I hear you. All right, guys, we went about an hour and a half. We had some fun. Hope you guys did. Anybody wants any questions we want to answer? We just kick these out weekly for people. You want to listen, listen. You don't. We're just average Joes having fun and playing fantasy football the way we want to play. So, all right, guys. Hope all is well. Thank you for listening, Smitty. Sorry about your loss, buddy, but you're going to pay me that water bet that you're going to owe me. You're going to owe that water bet. Green Bay's going down, buddy.